You can tell a lot about a person by what's in their glass. Sometimes it says, I appreciate true craftsmanship. And sometimes it says, I will definitely try to explain cryptocurrency to you at this party. I'm Tim Fulton, and this is Character Proof. Every episode, we pour a different whiskey, break down the actual tasting notes, and then vividly imagine the exact type of person who drinks it on purpose. So grab a glass, pull up a chair, and get ready for some tasting notes and a whole lot of character flaws. Let's get pouring. Here's the strange thing. Almost nothing happens. You sip, you wait for the bourbon to do bourbon things, the heat, the spice, the slow, warm spread, and instead there's a polite little flicker of honey, a faint peppery tingle, a whisper of caramel, and then it's gone. Clean and quick before you've even finished deciding how you feel about it. It's pretty, it's gentle. It does not so much enter the room as wave at the room from the hallway, and then leave. And technically, on paper, this should have more to say. It's a high-rye bourbon, which usually means spice and assertiveness. But the whole trick of the bottle is the proof. It's bottled at 80, the legal floor, and that low strength changes everything. The nose is light and well-mannered. Gentle honey, a little corn sweetness, a wisp of dried herb and black pepper from the rye, a touch of soft oak. The palate is thin-bodied and lightly sweet, the finish short and clean. There is nothing wrong with it. It is smooth in the most literal sense. Very little happens, and what does happen is gentle. For a brand new drinker or someone who finds most bourbon too hot, it's genuinely useful, an on-ramp, a handshake, a gateway. I don't dislike it. I just know exactly why Doug ordered it. And Doug is not a new drinker. Doug is a tactician. Doug is at a business dinner. The client is across the table, his boss is 2 seats down, the waiter is working his way around, and Doug has correctly identified this moment as a small but real test of social positioning. Someone is about to order a sophisticated brown spirit, and Doug very much wants it to look like him. The problem, Doug's lifelong, carefully managed problem, is that Doug is quietly terrified of high-proof alcohol. A barrel-strength bourbon would put him on the floor. A cask-strength scotch would end his career, in a single anecdote. Doug needs the full appearance of connoisseurship with absolutely none of the risk, and after years of research he has found his weapon, and its name sounds like a boutique law firm. Watch the maneuver because it is genuinely well executed. Doug never orders first. Ordering first is for amateurs. And when the table finally turns to him, he says, I'll do a Basil Hayden, neat, with just enough familiarity to imply a long history. The name does all the work. It sounds bespoke. It sounds like a tailor or a man who summers somewhere with a name. The client nods, impressed. The boss files it away. And Doug receives a glass of what is, functionally, the bourbon equivalent of a firm handshake and a glass of water, which he then sips slowly, frowning with thought, holding it up to the light, performing the entire body language of a man wrestling a complex and powerful dram, when in fact he could drink the whole thing like a juice box and feel nothing but mildly hydrated. Earlier, when the wine list came around, Doug ran the same play in a different key. He let someone else choose, then nodded slowly at the bottle like a man confirming a decision he would have reached on his own. Doug has never chosen a wine in his life. He has spent 2 decades nodding gravely at other people's wine with the quiet authority of a master sommelier, and not one human being has ever caught him, because the nod is flawless. He has notes, too. Doug has learned 3 tasting words, and he rotates them carefully. Approachable, he'll offer, and he's not wrong, it's the most approachable thing on the menu. Balanced, also technically true, there is very little present to put out of balance. And if he's feeling bold, easy drinking, which is the single most honest thing Doug will say all evening. He nurses the one pour across 2 full hours. He will not have a second. The second is where the danger lives. 1 is a personality. 2 would require Doug to have an actual relationship with alcohol, and Doug has spent his whole life making very sure that he never does. And here's the affectionate part, because there's always one. Doug is not a coward. Doug is a man who knows his own limits with a precision most drinkers never bother to learn, and who has quietly engineered a way to take part in a ritual that intimidates him without ever embarrassing himself or anyone else. That isn't weakness. That's project management. Doug has never once been the drunk guy at the work dinner. Doug has never sent the regrettable 2 a.m. text. Doug ordered the smartest possible glass for the exact situation he was actually in. And the fact that it tastes like a polite rumor of bourbon is, for Doug, the entire feature. Order the Basil Hayden, Doug. Nurse it all night. You're playing a different game than the rest of the table. And very quietly, you are winning it. Well, the glass is empty, and the verdict is officially in. That's going to do it for this episode of Character Proof. If you enjoyed the show, please hit subscribe, leave us a 5-star review, and share it with that one friend whose whiskey shelf costs more than their car. You know exactly who I'm talking about. Want us to put your go-to bottle to the test? Drop your favorite pour in the reviews, or hit us up on socials, and we might just profile you next. Until next time, drink responsibly, pour generously, and always check your character flaws. Cheers.